Hey y'all, this is Andrew at Plainview Farm. It is another hot day here in southern Missouri. We're gonna try to, I guess, get something done anyway. So I've got my old international disc here that I bought a while back, and gonna try to actually get it all put back together. This is pretty much where I left it whenever I brought it home. And what I had to do is break it down into two pieces in order to get it loaded up on the trailer. But like I said, gonna try to get it put back into one piece, I guess. You know, it's a, if you understand the design of these, the way these work, I guess you can call it one piece. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get all this put back together, as I said, into one piece so that I can actually use it. Now, for those of you that did not see the video where I bought this disc, go watch it. This is, if I remember correctly, a 9A international drag type disc. I was able to get the bearing carriers, whatever you call them, I was able to get them to accept grease. I did that the other day, and you know, they all took grease, which is exciting. It's 8 foot wide. There are 7 discs on each gang. This rear gang right here is actually, it's freewheeling, I guess is what you would say, because the axle is rounded off. You know, everything just kind of spins. And I'm not gonna break it down and put a new axle on it, replace the discs and all that right now. I'm just gonna use it like it is. I mean, I think if I remember right, it was like 150 bucks is what I paid for this disc. So I'm just, at least initially, gonna use it like it is. The old thing has had lots of use in its life. It's got a lot of wear on it. You can see here the hole on this piece of steel is all out of round, or however you want to describe that, you know, big wear spot right there. Now, the reason I want to get this disc going is so that I can disc the pasture here that I've got all plowed up to start preparing the seed bed for planting later on down the road. It's probably going to be October before I actually get to that. This is, you know, July. So I've got plenty of time, but the idea is to work it up. Hopefully we'll get some rain. The seeds that are out here can germinate. We can disc it again, get some seeds to germinate, disc it again, you know, get rocks picked up, all that good stuff, so that we can prepare a seed bed to get our pasture seed planted, so that we can give our pasture grasses a little bit of a head start going into next spring. But I can't do any of that until I get the disc put back together. So that's where we're starting today. Probably gonna be easier to push the front toward the back instead of the other way around. See if I can do this without, hey, look at that. That could not have gone better than if I had scripted it, I'm telling you. In case you didn't see what happened there, I set this piece up here to grab hold of that hook, and it actually went on there like it was supposed to. That's rare for me. I'm just saying, it's really rare. Not trying to get ahead of myself, but I think that's a good sign. Next, All right, see if we can get lightning to strike twice. Oh, almost. Guess I can set it up like that. Hope it doesn't fall on me. There. Whew. I should probably be using hardware that is a little bit stouter than this, but for now it'll be okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess it probably didn't have anything other than just regular standard steel bolts back whenever it was manufactured, so it'll probably be all right. So I had to cut the hardware. Used a small portable torch to get part of this thing apart. That's why I'm not using original hardware to put it back together. Come on, crescent hammer. There we go. All right. And pin number 1. Pin number 2. Let's see if I can get the cotter pins in there without having to stand on my head. Well, I think I'm gonna have to stand on my head. I can, yeah. Man. Come on, Andrew. You've got this. There we go. All right, so I put the drawbar on the back of the tractor here on the 3-point to keep the arms from swaying too far and banging into the tires. And then I've got this clevis here. This is what we're going to use to pull the disc. And I also brought a string, not a string, but a string to tie off here so that we can make adjustments on the fly. There we go. And we will just Man, I cut way too much here. We'll just tie this off up here. Alright, I just put a loop in it and hung it from the old headlight. And in case you're wondering, yes, I'm using the same 820 John Deere that I used to plow the field. Of course, I would love to be using Grandpa's old 300, but it's not going to happen on this field. And of course, it wouldn't be right if I didn't have the cheering section here to see me off. Watch out, pig! Watch out, pig! Alright, let's see here. There we go. We don't want to set it too far. I think I may have done just that. Nothing breaks. All right, well, it's the next day. I started to run low on fuel, so I pulled the tractor up next to the house, parked it for the night, and after work today I went out and got some more fuel and filled the tractor back up. I managed to get most of all of this out here run over with the disc. I have just a small area out here in the center of this hillside, this slope, left to get done. I'm fairly pleased. I'm happy with what it's done, considering the age and condition of the disc. I can't fault it. So we'll see if we can't finish it up this evening. I did change and put the clevis on the drawbar there, so that, or on the 3-point drawbar, so that I can lift it up just a little bit. I think that'll help. Yeah, I think that'll help. All right, so I've got the whole thing disked now, and I guess, well, here's a good spot as any. So this is kind of what I'm going for. You can see the Sarisa right here. Whenever we plowed it, we turned it all over, and now we're chopping up all of these clumps. Now, evidence of my poor skills whenever it comes to running a moldboard plow, I think is probably seen in some of these spots where we've still got Sarisa sticking up. But hopefully as we disc, we'll be able to loosen those up. Actually, see, I just pulled this one up out of the ground. I don't think I got it on camera, but so they are loose in there. Let me see if I can pull up another one. But you know, the soil's loose, so I mean, those will pull right out. And hopefully, you know, working enough with the disc, I'll be able to break it all loose. Huh. What in the world is that? You know, I'll tell you, I find all kinds of interesting stuff, honestly, out here all the time. My family has lived on this property since the 1940s, and I find all kinds of stuff. It's pretty interesting. In fact, just a few days ago, I found an arrowhead out here. My dad always talked about following Grandpa around whenever he would plow up the field. He made silage and milked dairy cows, but Dad would talk about following Grandpa around, walking through the field, picking up arrowheads. And honestly, there's tons of them out here. I probably could not go too far and find one, but the belief is that, you know, this was a popular area for gathering and settlement, because that pond right over there once upon a time was spring fed. And it may still be, I don't know, because it's always, or at least somewhat, because it's always wet at the bottom. It's really swampy in that pond. That pond is absolutely full of muck. It needs to be cleaned out, but it always stays wet at the bottom. So, like I said, maybe it still is. But like I said, the dirt is soft, so hopefully more I disc, the more of this will be able to get worked up, pulled up to the surface, and be able to get rid of. But now, since I've got a little bit of time before dark, I think I'm probably going to start hitting it at like a 45-degree angle. See what I can do running it that way. But I'm going to turn the camera off for that part. So, as always, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.